Ryan Reynolds in big trouble with his statement. Today is the day Blake Lively is going to be deposed. So this is amazing evidence. She's contradicting herself when she said that Baldoni was a danger and he needs to be exposed. She never believed that.
Blake Lively has officially hit full meltdown mode, and it's all thanks to her charming husband, Ryan Reynolds, who just couldn't keep quiet. In a move that shocked even their closest allies, Ryan spilled Blake's secrets like it was open mic night, and now she's scrambling to clean up the mess. Meanwhile, Reynolds is strutting around like Disney executives didn't just put his career on thin ice.
Her experience wasn't that bad and she never wanted to go public with it. What made her go public with it? Well, she's saying that it was because of the smear campaign.
Honestly, this entire scandal is shakier than their carefully curated power couple image ever was. Ryan may have thought he was protecting his wife, but all he did was pour gasoline on a PR fire. The moment he publicly labeled Justin Baldoni a predator, people assumed he had damning proof. But now, that reckless accusation is coming back to haunt them both, badly.
The smear campaign was much worse than the actually alleged SH. Well, Megan Thuy was saying that Blake Lively had told her this.
Here's the twist. Blake herself had already downplayed the whole thing. In a quiet, off-the-record chat with New York Times reporter Megan Thuy, she admitted the Baldoni drama wasn't even close to the worst experience she'd had in Hollywood. That confession completely undercuts the hysteria her husband stirred up.
Blake Lively herself said that this wasn't really bad. And that put Ryan Reynolds in big trouble with his statement, something that I didn't think about here.
So when Ryan went off script and painted Baldoni as a serious danger, it didn't just look reckless, it exposed a massive contradiction. If that info came directly from Blake, why was Ryan pushing such an extreme narrative? Suddenly, people started asking, are Blake and Ryan even on the same page? Or are they running two separate PR campaigns? Because if they were united, Blake wouldn't be softening the story in private while Ryan publicly tried to destroy Baldoni's career.
This was information coming to her, straight to her, from Blake Lively.
Instead of killing the controversy, Ryan's overblown statement shattered their credibility even further. What was meant to be a show of support for Blake only raised more questions about their honesty, their motives, and what they're really hiding behind that flawless red carpet image.
And he said that he could say that because it was freedom of speech and he believed him to be a predator. Okay, how could he have believed that he was a predator when Blake Lively was saying that this wasn't bad at all?
And it didn't stop there. Behind the Hollywood sparkle, Blake Lively was already playing a much darker game. While the public believed she was quietly processing the situation, insiders knew the truth. She was orchestrating a calculated smear campaign to bury Baldoni's name before he could even respond. And this wasn't just tabloid gossip. Dr. Ramani, a renowned psychologist known for her work on narcissistic abuse, laid it out point by point, showing exactly how Blake's moves matched a textbook pattern of psychological sabotage.
Ryan Reynolds acted with reckless disregard of the truth. He intentionally exaggerated Blake Lively's experience because of course he knew that Justin Baldoni wasn't a predator.
First, Blake went straight for the kill, working her inner circle like a master strategist. She whispered half-truths to castmates, studio execs, and even reporters, painting Justin Baldoni as toxic and dangerous before a single lawyer's letter dropped. She took his own admissions, confessing he'd made mistakes while learning to be a better ally, and twisted them into evidence of a serial predator.
With this statement here in this interview, Justin Baldoni could actually prove that.
Now, the cracks in Blake's narrative have only widened. An off-the-record December 2024 chat with the New York Times Megan Thuy resurfaced, and in it, Megan revealed that Blake herself downplayed the whole incident at the heart of her lawsuit. Ironically, the very reporter who helped amplify those allegations ended up undermining them.
This is amazing evidence. It's so interesting to me how this came up after the case was dismissed.
Here's the clincher. Blake told Megan, "This wasn't even the worst misconduct I've faced in Hollywood, far worse things have happened to me." That single admission shattered the foundation of her legal crusade and sent PR shockwaves through Hollywood. Suddenly, everyone's asking, if it wasn't that bad, why go nuclear on Baldoni?
Blake Lively said that she had experienced much worse in Hollywood than what actually happened on this set.
If this wasn't even the worst, why did Blake pick this particular episode to unleash her first public harassment lawsuit? Why single out Justin Baldoni with laser focus, while seemingly shrugging off far graver infractions from her own past?
It wasn't really that bad. What was bad what came after the smear campaign that she thinks that I was a part of, and a lot of people, all of you creators out there, were part of this smear campaign against her, and of course a lot of bots.
And the contradictions kept piling up. In that same December 2024 chat, Megan Twohey disclosed that Blake's on-set drama ended relatively well. Blake dictated her terms, demanded clear behavioral changes, and Baldoni didn't just nod. Along, he inked a 17-point agreement specifying exactly how he must behave going forward. That contract quietly reset the production, letting cameras roll as if nothing had ever happened.
I think if she would withdraw her case today, she would look like a coward and a liar.
But beneath that glossy veneer, the 17-point pact revealed Blake's true playbook, exerting backstage power to corner Baldoni into submission. The headlines fixated on her victim narrative, crafted interviews, emotional sound bites, selective leaks, yet no one questioned how Blake leveraged her star status to force compliance on threat of project collapse and career ruin.
He had asked Baldoni to sign this agreement of 17 points, that was 30 points, that he should not stop behaving like the way he did, and blah, blah, blah. She said that Baldoni's behavior improved with these new protections in place.
What makes this even darker? All of this unfolded months before the lawsuit ever hit the courthouse. Blake knew Baldoni signed under intense pressure, and still she went public, building a legal case designed not to seek justice, but to humiliate him. That timeline obliterates any claim of helplessness. It was a calculated strategy from the start.
Blake Lively approached Justin Baldoni and said that he'd need to stop behaving this way. He did stop behaving the way that she was accusing him of behaving, which we now know that he didn't really do, and he only signed these points because he wanted to get back to work.
Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, playing the devoted husband, charged into the fray with bombastic declarations that now, in hindsight, look utterly reckless.
Ryan Reynolds came out and called Justin Baldoni a predator. He put this word in front of it.
Ryan Reynolds stormed into the fray, publicly branding Justin Baldoni a predator as if that accusation were a shield to defend Blake's honor. But when Megan Twohey's interview hit the headlines, Reynolds' crusade looked more like a PR spectacle than genuine outrage. How can a husband fling around the predator label, risking someone's reputation, while his own wife quietly tells a trusted journalist, it wasn't even that bad? Those conflicting accounts didn't just baffle the public, they ripped the veneer off a meticulously choreographed scandal. On one side you had Blake downplaying the incident in private, and on the other, her legal team, backed by Reynolds, portraying it as catastrophic. Then there's that 17-point behavior contract, not a casual handshake, but a formal list of demands Baldoni signed under duress just to keep working. It was blackmail in the guise of a workplace protection, with Blake pulling all the strings. Behind the scenes, while feigning vulnerability in the tabloids, Reynolds' bombastic defense only stoked the fire. Every time he doubled down on that reckless predator's charge, the focus snapped back to Blake, forcing critics to ask if she could minimize the incident to Megan Twohey yet engineer a legal noose around Baldoni. What else was she hiding? And the fallout was immediate. Baldoni's reps at WME dropped him after Reynolds allegedly whispered that label into their ears at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere in July 2024. It wasn't idle gossip. It was career sabotage delivered by Hollywood's golden boy. Ryan Reynolds' Predator proclamation was meant to shield Blake's reputation, but when Megan Twohey's off-record revelations surfaced, his defense looked more like a calculated publicity stunt than genuine concern. Blake's own admission of far worse misconduct in Hollywood shattered the urgency of her legal claims, exposing the truth. This was never about justice or healing, it was about control and image management. With every bombastic statement Reynolds made, the glare shifted back onto Blake, forcing the public to question the very foundation of her narrative. The real damage spanned beyond tabloids. Justin Baldoni's career took a fatal blow after Reynolds allegedly cornered WME executives at the July 2024 Deadpool and Wolverine premiere, branding Baldoni a predator until the agency dropped him. What? Began as a stunt to protect one star ended up revealing how ruthless reputation warfare can be when wielded by Hollywood's power players. That on one hand, Blake downplayed the severity of the incident in private interviews, yet on the other, her legal team, amplified by Reynolds, cast it as catastrophic and traumatizing. Then there's that 17-point behavior contract, not a friendly handshake but a formal ultimatum Baldoni signed under duress just to keep the production afloat. That document wasn't protection, it was blackmail disguised as workplace safety. With Blake wielding absolute power behind the scenes while publicly projecting vulnerability and outrage. When Megan Twohey casually recited Blake's own words during the December 2024 interview, the contradictions exploded into the open. If Blake could minimize the incident to a respected reporter yet simultaneously orchestrate a legal straitjacket around Baldoni, what else in her narrative was smoke and mirrors?
So he called him that out in public, and he admitted that he had called him that in his motion to dismiss against Justin Baldoni.
The fallout was instant. WME abruptly dropped Baldoni right after that premiere, no warning, no investigation. Baldoni has since pointed the finger at Reynolds' backstage lobbying as the catalyst for his firing. This wasn't about safety or misconduct anymore, it was a targeted strike on Baldoni's career. Reynolds leveraged his superstar clout and his proximity to Blake's narrative to pressure one of Hollywood's most powerful agencies into cutting ties with Baldoni.
According to Justin Baldoni, this statement is what made WME, his management company, fire him.
But the saga doesn't end there, it only deepens. Ari Emanuel, former WME CEO and Hollywood's ultimate power broker, didn't exactly deny Reynolds' pull. A late 2024 leak captured Emanuel admitting his unwavering loyalty to Blake and Ryan, calling the Baldoni situation an up-bad situation, yet defending his choice to axe Baldoni based on his personal trust in the couple.
It allegedly happened in July 2024 at the Deadpool and Wolverine premiere that Ryan Reynolds had allegedly approached WME and expressed his deep disdain for Baldoni, suggesting the agency was working with a blah 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 predator.
Emanuel didn't mince words, his faith in Blake and Ryan trumped any skepticism about Baldoni. He praised their decades-long careers and spotless reputations, ironically overlooking the very cracks in that image that Megan Twohey's scoop had exposed. Despite knowing Blake downplayed the incident, Emanuel still pulled the plug on Baldoni.